Hi guys, welcome to today's class. The topic I'll be talking about today is operators in Python. Now, let me introduce you again to the platform I use in writing this code. This is Google Colab. It's an online platform where you can write your Python code. It's a cloud-based which allow you to save your work automatically as you are writing your code. You can have access to this platform on your phone and on your computer system. So either way, you are good to go. There's no limit to when you can start writing your code as far as you have access to a smartphone that has internet and a system that has internet. Now let's go to the class in proper. Uh, the topic we'll be talking about is operators in Python. Python operators are special symbols or keywords used when writing operations involving variables and values. These operators allow a range of possibilities that start from basic arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division to more complex and comparisons and logical operations. Now, the first one we'll be talking about here is the arithmetic operator. Now, remember I told you there is a feature in Google Colab called text, which you can actually use to make a note while writing your code. So once you click on that, you can say arithmetic operator just for you to have a guide on what you are doing so that whenever you come back to it, you can easily remember the kind of code you wrote under it. So arithmetic operators, or let me just say operators in Python. Then you press escape, so you can see it has make an heading here, so you can easily know what you are doing when next you come to your account to continue with your code. Now I also told you this add code feature, which we also have here. Once you click on it, it creates a cell where you can start writing your code, and we have the play like icon here that you click on whenever you are done writing your code in a particular cell to run it. So it's as easy as that. Now the first operator I'll be talking about is the arithmetic operator. Now let me arithmetic operator. So now the first arithmetic operator that we'll be talking about is what we all know from our elementary mathematics, which is what addition. Now let me comment this out. Now you use hash sign to comment any text or whatever you type that you don't want to run. You don't want it to be part of the code that you run. Like this now is not a Python code. So if I leave it open without commenting it out, it will create error in whatever code I type in this particular cell. So I will comment it out, which means this line should not be part of the code that will be run. So the first operator we'll be talking about under arithmetic operator is the addition. That is the plus sign. The plus sign we all know. Now, how do you use your plus sign? It's very simple. Let me create a variable called a. I can say equal to 6, and I can say b equal to 5. Remember, you have to run your cells before you can be sure that your code is fine, because if I don't run this cell, if I create another cell or I'm trying to print something without running it first, it won't print. It will print out error because Google Colab will not recognize it as a Python code. It will just see it as the ordinary text. So you have to run it, and when you run it and it shows this green mark, it means whatever you have typed in that cell is correct, is okay. Then you can go ahead to carry out some other operations on it. So I've created another cell here. Let me say I want to sum up a and b, that is 6 and 5. Now as you can see, I have some suggestions here. This is created by this feature here, Gemini. It's an AI that has been inculcated into Google Colab. which means it helps you in writing code, it helps suggesting codes to you. But if you are a beginner, I would not advise that you use it. So I will advise that you type your code by yourself. By doing that, you get acclimatized to whatever you are typing, you remember easily. So this feature here is activated, but in case you want to deactivate it from your command line, you can come under these two, click on settings, then you come under AI assistance, then you can uncheck this. You can uncheck this too, so it will disable it. But if you are already writing code, you just need more assistance, then fine, you can leave it. But I would advise, if you are just starting, don't just use AI to start like that. Use your hand to type. When you get used to it, then you can start using AI to assist you. So if I want to sum up A and B, which is 6 and 5 now, then I can say print, open a bracket, and I say A plus B. Now, if I print A plus B, it will give me 11. That is, it has summed up this 6 and 5. That is an arithmetic operation. It has summed up these two values here. So that is the addition sign we have in Python. Now, the next one we'll be talking about is the subtraction. Now, subtraction is a minus sign. Just as, let me clean this, I'll still be using the A and B as an example. So the subtraction, which is a minus sign, you can see it on your keyboard there. That is a sign there. This particular sign is a minus sign. So if I say print A minus B, just as we know from our elementary mathematics. So if I run it again, it's giving me 1, that is 6 minus 5. Then it is printing out 1. Remember, your print function prints your expected result on the screen. So it's giving me 1. Why? Because I have done some operations on these variables. I have done addition, now I'm doing subtraction. So the next one we'll be talking about is the division. Let me create another cell for division. Let me put hash division. So I want to divide A by B, and I can print A comma B, A /B. Your division in Python is /, so you press /B, and when you do that and you print, it will give you an answer. And this particular answer now is a float. Remember in the other video I told you, if you want to know the type of data type that your result is, just like this one now, this one now is an integer because it's a whole number now, but this now is a float, in case you have forgotten. But you can also check my videos on that. Now if I want to know the type of data type that the result is printing out, I can put type, open a bracket, and close the bracket. Remember, if you open two brackets, you have to close it with two brackets. If you open one bracket, you have to close it one bracket. Here now I have 1, I have 2, so I have to close it with 1 and 2 also. So you can see it just told me that this data that will be printed out is a float, and that was why we had that 2.1. So but let me remove that because it's not our focal point for this lesson. So we can see 1.2, that is division. So this is a sign. Your / is the sign you use whenever you want to make some division in Python. So then let's go to our multiplication. We'll still be using A and B for multiplication. Now I say print A, you open your bracket, A asterisk B, that is multiplication. If I print it, saying 30, that is 6 times 5 will give you 30. That is how you do we carry out multiplication operation in Python. You use your asterisk. You can find your asterisk where you have your 8. Just hold down your shift key, then you press asterisk, then it will multiply whatever variable you put there. You can put any number, even if it is not a and b that I've created. Let's say 4 and 3. Let me print this. You can see that it's printed out 12. So that is how you do multiplication in Python. Then the next thing I will be talking about is raised to power. Raised to power. That is, if you want to say, let's say you want to, okay, let me print 2. Let me say 3 raised to power. Your raised to power is double asterisk. That is, I want to say 3 raised to power 2. If I print this, you can see 9. That is 3 times 3. If I say 3 raised to power 3 and I print this out, you can see 27. That is 3 times 3, 9. 9 times 3, 27. That is 3 in 3 places. If I say 2 raised to power 3, you can see 8. That is 2 times 2, 4. Then 4 times 2 again. No, that is 8. Now, I want to show us, this division here gave us a float, but in case you want an absolute value when you are doing your division, in case you want an absolute value, you use this double slash. So the double forward slash. Let me do this. Print, open your bracket, a /b. You do the forward slash twice. That will give you an absolute value instead of a float, instead of the 1.2 that we have here. Let me run this. You can see we have 1 compared to this where we have 2. As you can see, so whenever you want an absolute value, you don't use the single slash, you use the double slash, so it will give you an absolute value. So that is that for arithmetic operators. So let's go to assignment operators. Now, assignment operators are symbols that are used to assign a variable to something. We have actually been using that, but let me go deeper more into it. So the first one we'll be talking about is equal to. And equal to is an assignment operator. Just like if I say student, or let me just say name, I say name equal to, you can use your maybe double quote or single quote. Let me say name equal to Abiodun. This sign here is an assignment operator. That is, I have assigned this value to this variable called name. I have assigned this Abiodun string, as a value to this variable that is called name. So that is one of the assignment operators that we have in Python. Now, another way to use this is also like this. I'll be using integer. Because there are times that you might want to do when we get to loop, while loop, for loop. You understand the reason why I want to use the particular example I'm using now. Let's say a equal to, let me delete other cells so that we won't get confused. You can actually delete any cell that you don't want. can actually delete any cell that you don't want. So let me add a fresh one. If I say A equal to 2, let me run this cell. Then I'm going to create another cell and I say print A. If I say print A, it will print A. Now if I create another cell and I say A equal to A plus equal to 1, what this simply means is that I have A already, which is 2 here, but anything I print after this particular line of code I wrote here, 1 should be added to that value of A, which is 2, which means if I print A now, it should give me what? It should give me 3. So let me run this cell so that I can have access to it. So if I say print A, as you can see, A is now 3. Now what this means is that it's like you writing A equal to A plus 1. So which means if I've written A plus 1, let me run this and run this again. Okay, let me create another one because it's already adding it, is seeing it as an existing value. Let me delete this cell, run this again, create another cell. If I say A equal to A plus 1, let me first print the A we have here so that we can see. Print A. You can see that A equals to 2. So if I now come here now, let me run this. If I now come here now, create another cell and say print A. So if I run this, you can see that it gives me 3. So but instead of writing it like this professionally, you can just say A plus equal to then 1 or whatever figure you want to add to it. So that is how you write that. So instead of writing A equals to A plus 1 again, you can just simply write A plus then equal to 1. If it is subtraction you want to do with A, let me delete this also so that we won't have any complication there. Let me run this again and then I'll run this. So if I say, okay, let me delete this. So if I say A minus equal to 1. So let me print A here first. Print A. Let's give us 2. So let me run this and print A. Print A. You can see that because we already say A minus equal to 1, that is these 2 minus 1, that is why it is giving us 1. So you can do that for multiplication, you can do that for division, you can do it for addition. So that is one of the examples when it comes to assignment operator. You use your equal to, and equal to is an assignment operator. So the next operator I'll be talking about is the comparison operator. Comparison operator. Now, example of comparison operator is this. Let me delete this out. Example of comparison operator includes greater than, that is less than, we have greater than, then we also have Let me put comma so I don't. So we also have equal to. Now this equal to is different from the assignment one, the assignment operator that we had, the other assignment operator, which is the simple equal to. Now this one is double equal to. We use it to compare some variables together, and you use it a lot, especially when you are using the conditional logic. We'll get there, but we'll do some example for us to understand it. Then we also have not equal to. Now your not equal to is using this exclamation mark with equal to. Using your exclamation mark with equal to, that is not equal to. So let me comment this out because we don't need it. I just want to show us. Let me comment that out and let's see how we can use the comparison operator. So let's say we have maybe a. Okay, let's say a equal to 15, and I say let's say b equal to 9. I will run this cell. Then let me go to. So you use this comparison operator more when you are doing some logic. So if I say if, don't bother about how I got to this if. We'll still get to that topic, but I want to use this, to explain the comparison operators. So if I say if a is greater than, let's say if a is greater than 5, you can put space so that your code will look neat. If a is greater than 5 and a is less than let's say 10, is less than 10, and you put your semicolon. So if a is greater than 5, or let me say if a is equal to 5, a equal to 15, let me say equal to 15, and less than 10. I have to delete this out, that is going to give me complications here. And is less than, and b is less than 10. Put proper space. Print let me use the same cell so that print let's say print yes, a string, else print no, or not sure. Now what I'm saying here now is that my code should check if this a as a variable is equal to 15 and b is less than 10, it should print yes. So which means if this thing does not, if this a does not meet this condition and this b does not meet this condition, it should print this. But if they meet these both condition, that is a equal to 15 and b equal to 10, then it should print yes. So let me run this. As you can see, it says yes. It's printed out yes. That is, A is equal to 15 and B also is equal to uh is less than 10. So but let me change this value. Let's say I change B to become 90 and A still remain 15. I said if A is equal to 15 and B is less than 10, but as you can see from here, B is not less than 10. So if I tell my system to run this, let me run this one first because I've not run it before. I've changed the value. You can see that the output has changed to not sure. That is, though A is equal to 15, but B is not less than 10. B is actually greater than 10. So the condition is not met at all. That is why it's printing this not sure. So you use comparison operator to compare variables, to compare values together for you to get a particular output. So you can see our equal to here, and you can also see the less than. You can put any condition you want. You can say if let me say if B is not equal to, remember our not equal to is this sign here. If A is equal to 50 and B is not equal to 10, print yes, else print not sure. So let me run this again. As you can see, A is equal to 15, but B is not equal to 10. B is actually equal to 19, and that is why it is printing yes. That is, it met both condition, 15 and not equal to 10. But let me say and B is equal to 90. Let me just use both equal, and B is equal to 10. So let me change this back to 10. And remember, once you change the value of your variable, you need to run that cell again so that Python can recognize it as a new line of code. So as you can see, print yes. That is, if A is equal to 15 and B is equal to 10, print yes. And truly A is equal to 15 and B is equal to 10, so it's printing yes. But if I change this value now and I say 30, let me run this again, you can see that it's printing out not sure. Why? Because it's not meeting both condition. So comparison operators are used to compare variables, to compare values together. So you can put greater than, you can put less than, and you can put equal to. Now the next operator we'll be talking about is the logical operator. Though I have used one of the logical operator here, which is AND. Logical operator. Now you use logical operator to compare two variables, to compare two conditions. That is, if this is this and this is this, we have and we have or and we have not. So I'm here now. I say if A is equal to 15 and B is equal to 10, print this, else print this. What if so this and here is an example of a logical operator. So I can also change it to or. Let's say I have or here, so I can say if A equals to 15 or B equal to 10, that is, if it meets any of these conditions, that is, if A equal to 15 or B equal to 10, then it should print yes, which means this or is either you meet one of these condition, that is whether A equal to 30, A equal to 15 or B equal to 10. So if I run this now, you can see that it's printing out yes. Why? Because even though A is not equal to 15 here, but b is equal to 10. That is why it's giving me yes, it's true. Let me just say yes, it's true. This is a string, remember? So it's saying yes, it's true, that this is meeting one of the conditions. So, but let me change this. Let me change I've used and this is or. So you can use that to to compare two variables to meet a particular condition. So or is one of the logical operators that you use in Python whenever you want to meet a particular condition, whether this is this and this is this, or whether this is this and this. So we have and, we have or, we have not. So those are examples of logic operators we have in the Python. So you can write any line of code that you want, then you use any of these logical operators and see how they respond. So let's go to membership operator now. Membership operator, let me just comment all this out. Let me comment them out. So membership operator. Now membership operator, you use it to check if something belongs to another thing. For example, if I say, let me still use this A and B. If I say, okay, maybe A is equal to 30, B equals to 10, or let me delete this particular cell so that we don't confuse ourselves. So if I say print A, print A, print A in B, let me print that out. Okay, that's giving me an error. You can see it says false. That is, print if A, what we have A is in B, is giving me an error. That is false. It is returning a boolean value which is false. In boolean, in my other video where I talked about boolean as one of the data type, it can only return whether a true or a false value. Now we are trying to check if this A variable and B variable are members. So is A in B? Then it is not. Remember, you have to put your variable in string. If you are doing this, you have to quote them in either double quote or single quote. Now we have another example for that. If I can say, is A not in B? That is, check whether A is not in B. If it is true, then we know. Then you can say that A not in B, that is, A, what we have in A is not in B, because their values are different. You can use string, you can use anything. So these are examples of membership operators that you can use in Python to check whether something is in a particular thing, whether a particular variable has the same item as the other variable. For example, let's say we have a list. Let's say we have a list of some items. Let's say laptop. Remember, you need to put them in, when you are creating a list, you need to put them in single quote or double quote. Let me put another thing. Let's say a brush. Then let's create another list here. Let's say orange. Let's say um let's say pineapple. So let me run this again. So if you want to check if A not in B, you can say that it is true. That is, what we have in A, we don't have it in B. So but let's see, let me add laptop to it. We have laptop here and we also have laptop here. So let me rerun this cell and run this. So everything we have in A is yet to be in B. So let me add brush to it. I have to run this and run this. You can see that because of this other two, is already telling us that what we have in A, it can never be compared with what we have in B. That is, A is not in B. So that's how you use your um, membership operator to check things in a particular list or value. So that is that on that. We also have another one, which is identity operator. Identity operator works similarly with the membership operator. Identity operator also work similarly in a similar manner with membership operator. Let me create this variable again. So this one is 78. I have to rerun this. So one of the example of identity operator is this. Okay, so if I say print A is B, that is A is B. Let me run this. Okay. Sorry, false. As you can see, A is not in B. So it works in a similar way with our membership operator. That is, you can see this false result that is printing out. So we also have is not. We also have is not. If I say A is not in B, you can see true. That is, A is not in B. They have different values. So, but let me use the same list for them now. Let me use the same list for them. Let me just put laptop and brush. Let me also put laptop as a list here. Also put brush. And run this. Is A is not in B true? That is not true. I have to create another variable. So as you can see, so when a particular item is not having the same item with the other one, then you can easily use the identity operators also. So those are some of the examples we have. So for example, I can say, is it true that they have the same value? Then run it, it will still give you false. So that is that on operators in Python. See you next time.